Boise High School isn't just a school, it's a living archive. Through these walls flow a century of stories, traditions, and memories. Welcome to the Boise High School Museum, where history meets the heart. Boise High is such a special place in that not only do we have all the things that make up a high school, but we also have a museum within a functioning public high school. It is one of 3 only within the United States at the moment. So having kids come to school and be able to enter a museum about the very place where they're learning every day is a phenomenal experience, one that Boise High is very proud to have. Long before there was any massive places to have music concerts or operas or speakers for political positions, Boise High was the place. Our auditorium served as the opera house. It served as the gathering house. It served as when presidential candidates would come in the 20s and 30s. So Boise High has this intricate history that's tied to the community.
For many years, Boise High was just the center of all the educational opportunities and civic opportunities. Plus, there's been so many generations of students that have gone through here. We have up to 5 generations in families that have gone through here. So it was just really, everybody you knew went to Boise High. And so it was just a real generational thing with all the families. And so we all had that connection, that we had relatives that went to Boise High, and just the sense of pride.
I discovered an archives room that I didn't even know existed. And so there was this wealth of just amazing stuff in there, but it was stacked on boxes and tipped over and trophies laying on the floor. And it was like a gold mine. I was so excited that I'd found all this stuff. And my first thought was, why aren't these things in a museum?
The first time I came down here, when I heard that a museum was going to be created, but you needed to start going through boxes and filing cabinets, I went back into the room that's called the archive room, and it was so overwhelming, I almost couldn't breathe. I didn't really understand how you were going to be able to even go through everything, let alone turn it into something that looks like this. So it took a lot of dedicated volunteers, countless hours, and about 2.5, 3 years to get it to where it is now. And it was catching the vision, because I did not have the vision when I first came and started looking through those boxes. But once you caught the vision, then it just kept you going, and you wanted to see it to completion. And the completed form, it's really something.
I wanted to tell the stories of every student, potentially, that has come through Boise High. Some of them go on to have very famous lives. Some of them have gone on to be mechanics. Some of them have gone on to be doctors, dressmakers. And so each one of those stories I felt was worthy of telling. And really the stories came about from the memorabilia. What things did I discover in the archives that brought about something I felt other students would be interested in, other faculty would be interested in, what alumni might be interested in. One of the special ones we have belongs to Carrie Gregory. It was donated by her granddaughter, and she was class of 1898. And the things her granddaughter brought in were unbelievable. They are scrapbooks with the detail about dances, but the ones that really struck me are the academic books, and they're her academic journals, her notes she took in class. And when you get to look at somebody's individual handwriting, I feel like it's such a connection to somebody's soul.
So every item of memorabilia has its own unique story of days gone by, and our museum will tell those stories for years to come. I have 4 generations of family that have gone through Boise High, starting with my grandfather in 1915 up to my nephew in 1991. And so when people are coming through the museum, relatives will say, oh, that was my mother, that was my father. So I always take a picture of them, and we have that picture by the item. And it just is a continuing legacy of alumni.
I think that the museum means not just to the school, but to the Boise High community. It is just a very powerful connection to the past. We talk about how all of our alumni, all of our former staff and students, we are all part of the fabric of Boise High. And the museum is actually that physical representation with the historical artifacts of all of those different generations of people who went to school here, taught in the school, and are connected in some way to our school. What's really been neat for me as the principal and as I've watched people come in and see the museum for the first time is I get the same sense that they are feeling what I felt as an alum the first time I walked in. And it really was just, wow. And there's just almost a heaviness of the weight of the history. And to see it as you walk through this room and this space and you look at the different displays, you're really walking through the time, the decades of Boise High. And it's so fascinating to watch people connect with different aspects of it. So the people that will connect with, oh, I remember that game, or, oh, do you remember so-and-so who was involved in this? And it's just been really special. At this particular school, there's another facet, and that is helping to preserve and honor the history of this school because it is such a significant cultural institution in our city and our state. And there's a lot of weight to that. It also brings me a great amount of pride. And it's the reason why I am so grateful to be the principal of this school in particular, because I feel an emotional connection, an emotional responsibility to be part of the preservation of Boise High.
For me, as I helped put together this museum, I just know it was meant to be because I came upon so many different items of memorabilia. It's like, that was exactly what I needed for this exhibit. And when you think about the mountains of memorabilia that were in the archives, and just to find that particular piece that you needed to top off the exhibit, I just know that there were possibly some external forces helping me along on this journey.
One of the things that I love about this museum is being able to be here for the tours and watching the people's faces when they just look around and they can't believe all of this is here. The number one comment that I have heard is, I thought it would be good, but I didn't think it would be this good. What I would tell people, anyone, whether or not they've ever attended school here, or for alumni especially, is just come see what you are attracted to, see what you connect with. You might be surprised. It might be something completely different than what you experienced when you were here in high school, especially for alum. Now you're looking at it through older eyes, more experienced eyes, and I think you can see the layers now that is underneath everything that was maybe not quite so deep when you were here at school.
This is just the beginning. Step inside the Boise High Museum and discover the legacy for yourself.